I mentioned in a couple of my introductions that this year is going to be the year that I graduate to big boy gaming. I'm going to be getting a PS5. I finally picked up Death Stranding. It just recently was released, Death Stranding Director's Cut for the new M series MacBooks, and a MacBook is what I have. I've used Mac for a long time for software development and for work. And I thought that I had already experienced a little bit of, recent big boy gaming on my Mac because I will run Windows on my Mac and I place a few Steam games that way. And so, for example, I have Street Fighter V. To run Street Fighter V in the Windows environment on the MacBook, the graphics are way reduced. It's probably like you're playing on a PS3 maybe, and it still looks about as good as what you get on a Switch, to be honest. So here I was thinking that I was playing more modern games with modern graphics than what a Switch can handle. When it wasn't even close. So Death Stranding Director's Cut was retooled specifically to run on the M series Macs natively with Apple's new Metal architecture, which is what they have for gaming. So I figured, okay, I'll try this out. And man, let me tell you, the graphics on this game, I'm gonna sound, anybody who owned a PS4, anybody who's playing PlayStation or Xbox right now is just gonna be laughing at me. I swore for the last several years that I did not care about graphics, that the Switch was just fine for me. Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games of all time. I didn't realize what I was missing. I remember back to owning the original Xbox, being immersed in the world of a video game and getting to know the characters. Something that I found recently on Switch is that I just had no patience for games that were very involved, or where you were stopping and talking to characters, learning their backstories, carrying on conversations, that sort of thing. I thought I had just reached a point in my life where I'm a 30 something dad, I'm busy, I'm working, I'm not that kind of gamer anymore. I'm not just going to spend 2 hours on a Friday night immersing myself in a video game world. The truth is, I just the graphics of 20 years ago just doesn't do it for you anymore. So I start playing Death Stranding on my Mac, and I was blown away. I was sitting there for a good 5 minutes, like just moving my character around in circles, going, wow, look at this. My character looks fairly realistic. The clothes on the character looks fairly realistic. His face looks fairly realistic. All of the walls and the ground and the trees around me look realistic. This looks like maybe a Pixar movie, and yet I'm controlling the person and walking around. And when I move the character across the screen, the frames don't get all janky and the walls don't start bleeding into each other or flickering, right? Which is the kind of experience that, frankly, I was getting used to on Switch. So much of what attracted me to those sorts of big open world fantasy games, or even a first person shooter like Halo, at the time, what attracted me to it was the immersive graphics and just seeing this visually stunning world that looked pretty real, that looked pretty good for the time, and then getting lost in the gameplay that way. So playing Death Stranding, this is one of those games where during the first hour of the game, I probably spent 25-30 minutes watching cutscenes. It felt like I was just watching a movie and occasionally pushing A, right? And then there was a certain point where all of a sudden villains, monsters, whatever are around you, and I didn't really know what I was doing, and all of a sudden I was having to run out of a crazy situation, and I felt a little bit of that adrenaline rush, as I'm trying to get out of the scary area and get the scary music to stop playing so that I can feel safety again. And then it was a boring quote unquote walk back to the base to sort of debrief after this little mission. And the sense of relief that I felt being back in some plain open green grass, with the music calming down again, and it was just that whole experience reminded me of what it was like, the fun that you have playing video games when the the graphics and the music and the technology is up to speed with where you at what you expect. That experience of being lost in this high fidelity immersive world with engaging characters, dialogue, and that kind of stuff, that is something that I really enjoyed back in the day and was finding that I couldn't enjoy now. In my head, I thought I had really just aged out of gaming, that I grew up, so to speak, that I was a middle-aged dad with work and life responsibilities, and that that kind of gaming just didn't appeal to me anymore. And I think the truth of it is that as the gaming evolves and the graphics evolve, that does make a huge difference in your experience. So anyway, I'm going to be making more videos in the sort of the road to PS5 vein, I think. Just kind of talking about this stuff more, especially as I have more thoughts that aren't just completely off the cuff. Right now I'm just excited, but part of the whole point of this channel was to talk about some of those serious topics, about the fact that, look, if you are a 30-something parent with a full-time job, there are going to be times when you shouldn't just want to come home from work and ignore your family and turn on the PlayStation for 3 hours. And so how do you make sure that you strike that right balance and also include your children in games? Lots of stuff that I am excited to talk about. I've changed my mind about the importance of modern graphics and modern gaming. Still a huge Nintendo fanboy, always will be, but I can't wait to become a Sony pony. That's it for now. I will see you guys next time.